فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُم مَنَاسِكَكُمْ Then when you're done performing your rituals, فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ Then remember Allah like you remember your ancestors. Aba is mentioned here because the favorite pastime of the Arab was to talk about ancestors. Just like your favorite pastime may be movies, sports, cars, technology. Those are your aba nowadays. Nobody talks about their parents nowadays. Like, my dad, you know what he did? Like, that's not our pastime. But Allah is talking to people whose favorite pastime was, yeah, my grandfather was this warrior and he did this and that. Like we talk about movies, their action movies was the stories of their ancestors' lives. So when they sit together, they share those old-time stories. And they reminisce about them. The point here, the spirit of the text is, remember Allah with the same enthusiasm. You know how time flies when you're chit-chatting? You're talking about stuff and you don't even know where time goes and you go from one subject to another and like 5 hours go by and you're like, woof! It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know? That's the same enthusiasm with which you should be remembering Allah. فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ أَبَاءَكُمْ أَوْ أَشَدَّ ذِكْرًا Or even more intense. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ فَمِنَ النَّاسِ Then from among the people. You know what I told you, right? If there's one place that simulates Judgment Day for us, it is Hajj. You should forget about dunya when you get to Hajj. And there's a person who went to Hajj, and they only went to Hajj. Sometimes people go for the wrong reason. They go to show off. You know, this is not the case much anymore, but in Muslim countries, many Muslim countries, you go to Hajj, so you get a title at the end, Al-Hajj. You know, people call you Haji Saab. You know, you're pure and sacred now. Some people go because of a guilty conscience. They're running like super haram businesses. Or they're really oppressive to their employees, etc. Or they've taken their daughter's inheritance and things like crazy stuff. They've taken that stuff and now they have a guilty conscience. So they'll go and make Hajj. But dunya is still like deeply rooted inside their heart. That's still there, but on top of that you're making Hajj. For whatever other reason. Those are the kinds of people dunya has made so far away into their hearts that even Hajj doesn't get it out. The one place that could have got it out of your system would be that. So at the end of it, when the time comes to make dua, they're still making dua for dunya. They don't have no concern for akhirah. So they say, فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ Then from the people, even there's someone who says, رَبَّنَا أَتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا Our Master, give us in dunya, give us in this world. Ya Allah, a newer house. Ya Allah, just extend my credit line so I can get a second mortgage. I know it's haram, but I already put the first few $1,000s in my son's student loan. And that's important too. And Ya Allah, expand the business, even though I sell, liquor. They're doing all kinds of wild, what Allah means here by Rabbana Atina Fid Dunya is, give me dunya that doesn't build my akhirah. I just want dunya. I just want stuff here. That's all I want. وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ And he will have no portion in the akhirah whatsoever. On the one hand, the Prophet told us, ask Allah even for a shoelace. Right? And on the other hand, here we are, Allah is complaining about someone who's asking for dunya. How do you reconcile those two things? We ask Allah in priority. You ask Allah why were you created? You ask Allah first and foremost, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. That's the first dua Allah taught us. First complete dua in Quran is guide us. Everything else you enjoy in this world is so that you can sustain yourself for your real purpose. But for some people, even though they've come to this treasure, they're in a position to ask for the greatest treasure, guidance, and they have no care for it, all they still want is dunya. Clearly their preference is this world over the next. Then that is an insult to this deen. Then Allah says, fine, I'll just give you what you want. And there are a lot of people, a lot of materialistic Muslims. May Allah not make us from them. There's a materialistic attitude among Muslims who are completely living lives of dunya, no concern whatsoever for the akhirah. And in Ramadan they will pray a lot, they will also go to Hajj, but what will all of their du'as be for? Not for forgiveness, not for mercy on Judgment Day, not for the Islam of their children, not for the forgiveness of their parents. Their du'as would be, Ya Allah, promotion, economy's bad, make sure I keep my job, make sure the house is paid off for. That's it. Nothing else. I'm not saying you shouldn't make dua for those things, but if you miss the point of why you're even in existence, if your existence, your biggest concerns are worldly in nature, then you forgot the essence of this deen. And the one exercise that should have reminded you of that was the Hajj. So Allah says, وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ And he has no portion whatsoever at all in the afterlife. None.